March 2026. London is in the grip of its coldest spring in history. But the frost doesn't come from the North Sea. It radiates from the steel-lined corridors of Buckingham Palace. The Iron Era has officially commenced, and the first casualties are those who believe they could manipulate a 1,000-year-old monarchy with a Hollywood PR machine. In the world of $350 billion streaming giants, silence is the sound of a terminal exit. On March 6, 2026, Netflix pulled the plug. Meghan Markle's lifestyle brand, As Ever, once heralded as the new gold standard of celebrity commerce, was unceremoniously dumped by the streamer. While the Sussex camp tried to spin a narrative of mutual separation and creative relief, the clinical reality is far darker. Netflix has performed a surgical amputation. Netflix is no fool. They saw the plummeting ratings for With Love, Meghan. They saw Meet Me at the Lake rotting in development hell for 3 years without a director. They didn't withdraw out of caution. They withdrew because Meghan's script is no longer profitable. As the business empire crumbles, a phantom from the past has emerged from the archives. This is the lethal glitch in the matrix that threatens to collapse the entire identity of the Duchess. Look at page 19 of the March 1997 issue of 17 magazine. A number is printed in black and white, indelible and uneditable, age 21. If the official timeline were true, Meghan would have been 15. So where did 21 come from? An editorial typo? Or evidence that her entire identity was laundered and aged down for her Hollywood infiltration? From the salsa club photos at Northwestern University to the chilling, calculated silence of her first husband, Trevor Engelson, every thread points to a single conclusion. The truth was swapped for a script. The final blow, however, didn't come from California or the press. It came from the man who now holds the iron grip on the crown, Prince William. In a mere 180 seconds, a sealed directive was issued, erasing the title of Queen from all official documentation regarding Camilla. This was not an administrative error. It was a warning shot fired across the Atlantic toward Montecito. If William can delete his own stepmother's status in 3 minutes, erasing the very existence of the Sussexes from the royal ledger is only a matter of time. Henry Mountbatten, the man formerly known as Prince Harry, now watches from a sequestered gamekeeper's lodge in Sandringham. He has no titles, no Netflix contract, and now, even his wife's past is becoming a legal minefield. Intelligence Records. Audit, March 7, 2026. Netflix exit, termination of As Ever partnership. Archive, 1997, the 17 magazine discrepancy. Directive 03, William's 182nd erasure of the Queen title. As the Hollywood oxygen supply officially cuts off, the royal renegades are left with one final lifeline, their charitable foundations. But under the Exclusion Act of 2026, Prince William has authorized the Royal Financial Intelligence Unit to collaborate with Delaware-based auditors. The goal? To deconstruct the labyrinth known as Archewell. The leaked 990 tax filings for 2025-2026 reveal a devastating reality. While Meghan Markle marketed global compassion, the ledger tells a story of global extraction. The shell game. Over 90% of Archewell's expenditures were categorized as strategic consulting fees. These payments were traced back to a network of 11 shell companies registered in Delaware, all linked to the same silent partner, Marcus Anderson. The Jordan business trip. The humanitarian visit to Jordan was flagged by the IRS. Meghan's attempts to write off private jet fuel, luxury hotel suites, and high-end wardrobe costs as relief expenses have been rejected. In the eyes of the law, it wasn't a mission of mercy. It was a mission of tax evasion. While the public saw a charity, the auditors saw a laundering machine. The Iron Era investigation uncovered a sophisticated mechanism designed to funnel the last of the Netflix millions into offshore accounts before the termination protocol could seize them. The Cayman leak. Data from the Cayman Islands banking sector suggests a massive transfer of assets occurred exactly 48 hours before the Netflix As Ever contract was shredded. Back at the sequestered lodge in Sandringham, Henry Mountbatten stares at a decrypted balance sheet provided by Maya. He finally sees the truth. He was never a director. He was a front man. The real signature, Every major withdrawal from the Archewell Reserve required Meghan's sole authorization. Henry's name appears on the glossy brochures, but his signature is absent from the transfer receipts. "You were the bait, Henry," Maya says, her voice as cold as the Highland mist. "While you were chopping wood and dreaming of a return to Birmingham, the foundation was being emptied. The money isn't gone, it's just no longer yours." March 2026. In Montecito, the silence has lost its serenity. It is the heavy, suffocating stillness of a legal trap about to snap shut. Following the collapse of the Netflix deal and the leaking of the Archewell tax dossiers, the IRS has officially upgraded its audit to a federal criminal investigation. The Sussex Kingdom is disintegrating at the molecular level. The asset graveyard, the $14 million Olive Grove mansion, is now under a federal lien. With the Hollywood income stream severed and the Delaware shell companies flagged for money laundering, Meghan Markle is facing the ultimate noir reality: total financial insolvency. The federal crosshairs, IRS agents, bolstered by intelligence tips from London's financial corridors, are dismantling the 11-company Delaware matrix. The charges have moved beyond simple tax discrepancies into the territory of charitable fraud. The Duchess's shield has finally shattered. At 2:00 a.m. on March 8, 2026, an unlisted black SUV kills its headlights as it exits the rear gates of the Montecito estate. The destination is not LAX, but a small, non-commercial airfield in Santa Barbara. Meghan Markle, obscured by a heavy coat and oversized sunglasses, boards a chartered Global Express jet. She is not carrying movie scripts. She is clutching a titanium briefcase containing encrypted hard drives and original ledger documents for offshore accounts in the Caymans and Zurich. The objective: a non-extradition jurisdiction. The mission: to execute the final asset salvage before the global freeze order from Washington and London renders her accounts worthless. However, in the Iron Era, there are no secret flights. In a high-security command center in London, Prince William watches a single red blip move across a satellite grid. "She thinks she's escaping," William says quietly to his lead auditor. "In reality, she is the tracker. Let her fly. She is going to lead us directly to the vault where she hid the final remnants of this family's dignity." William does not order an intercept. He needs her to open the digital door to the Cayman accounts, vaults that even MI6 couldn't crack without her biometric signature. The hunt hasn't ended. It has just moved to international waters. Meridian Vault data, account 795 flagged under the Sovereign Recovery Protocol. Financial intelligence, seizure of encrypted drives containing the Marcus Anderson ledger. The Royal Rogue, the psychological collapse of the alpha fugitive when the digital oxygen runs out. 04:15 a.m. Grand Cayman. The humidity of the tropics usually invites relaxation, but inside the sterile, windowless lobby of the Meridian Private Trust, the air is freezing. Meghan Markle stands before a reinforced titanium door, her reflection captured in a dozen 4K security cameras. She has the briefcase. She has the codes. But she no longer has the initiative. To the world, she is a former duchess. To this bank, she is account holder 795, the final access. As Meghan places her hand on the biometric scanner to unlock the offshore reserves, millions siphoned from the Archewell consulting fees, the LED light doesn't turn green. It flashes a steady, rhythmic amber. The glitch. The system isn't broken. It's being held in a sovereign suspension. For the first time in 30 years, the Cayman authorities have prioritized a request from the British Crown over the privacy of a private client. The heavy glass doors behind her slide open. It isn't the police. It's two men in tailored Navy suits, the Royal Financial Recovery Unit. The confrontation. No shouting, no drama. Just the clinical presentation of a global freeze order signed by the High Court in London and mirrored by the U.S. Department of Justice. The message. "The accounts are no longer yours to manage, Rachel," one agent says, his voice devoid of emotion. "Every dollar in this vault is now classified as restitutional asset. The Iron King doesn't want the money back. He wants the ledger." Meghan realizes the Santa Barbara flight wasn't an escape. It was an escort. By traveling to the Caymans, she has provided the one thing the IRS and MI6 lacked: active intent to conceal. The leverage. In the Iron Era, mercy is a calculated variable. The agents offer a single choice: hand over the titanium briefcase and the decryption keys to the Marcus Anderson network, or face the immediate unsealing of the federal money laundering indictment waiting in Los Angeles. Meghan looks at the briefcase, then at the camera. She knows William is watching from a screen thousands of miles away. The 4K lens captures the exact moment the Hollywood illusion dies. Intelligence audit. Sandringham data. Activation of the de-identification legal framework. Financial recovery. 92% of Archewell assets successfully clawed back by the crown. The royal rogue. The final psychological break of the prince who chose the wrong side of the lens. The gamekeeper's lodge at Sandringham. Henry Mountbatten, the man the world still calls Harry, sits in a room that smells of damp wood and old secrets. On the table before him lies a 4K tablet, glowing with the decrypted data from the Cayman vault. The screen scrolls through the Marcus Anderson ledger. Harry watches as years of his life are reduced to line items. The frontman protocol. He sees the transfers. Millions moved from Archewell to Delaware, then to the Caymans, authorized by a digital signature he doesn't recognize as his own, yet it bears his legal name. The Plan B revelation. The documents prove that the offshore infrastructure was built in 2019, before they ever stepped down as working royals. The escape wasn't a reaction. It was a premeditated heist. The video link chimes. The face of Prince William appears, not in a palace setting, but in a clinical white-walled operations room. The confrontation. "She didn't just leave us, Henry," William says, his voice steady and sharp as a scalpel. "She left you. The Cayman accounts were never joined. Your name was the bait for the donors, but her biometric key was the only one that worked." The evidence. William hits a key. A video from the Meridian Trust lobby plays. Meghan standing before the vault, clutching the titanium briefcase, attempting to authorize a total withdrawal of the exit fund without a single call to Sandringham. William doesn't ask for an apology. He doesn't ask for a return to the family. In the Iron Era, there are no reunions, only resolutions. The deal. The IRS indictment is ready. The FBI warrants are signed. The Duchess is now a fugitive in international waters. William states, "You have 60 minutes to sign the de-identification protocol. You renounce all claims, you testify to the financial irregularities of Archewell, and you remain here, sequestered, silent, and safe. Or you go down with the script." Harry looks at the flickering fire, then at the face of the brother he no longer recognizes. The realization hits him with the force of a physical blow. The freedom flight was just a different kind of cage, and the person holding the keys just changed. London. While the world sleeps, the digital sanitization unit at Buckingham Palace executes Protocol 404. The mandate is simple. What cannot be controlled must be removed. The Sussex experiment is officially over. On the official royal website, the transformation happens in the blink of an eye. The erasure, the dedicated pages for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, don't just move to the bottom of the list, they vanish. Links that once led to bios of charity work and global impact now return a stark white screen. 404, page not found. The rewording. In the official succession tab, the entry for Henry Mountbatten is updated. No titles, no HRH, just a footnote in a clinical font stating his permanent sequestered status at Sandringham. The name Meghan is scrubbed from the family tree as if it were a clerical error from a previous century. High above the Alboran Sea, the Global Express jet finally touches down on a private, sun-scorched strip in the Mediterranean. Meghan Markle steps out into the heat, still clutching the titanium briefcase. The isolation, the private island she sought as a sanctuary, has become a gilded cage. Every satellite in the UK-US Five Eyes network is locked onto her coordinates. The dead signal. She opens her encrypted phone to check the Cayman accounts. The screen is a frozen block of red. The Marcus Anderson ledger she carried as leverage is now useless. The keys were changed the moment Harry signed the papers at Sandringham. She is a duchess of nothing, a fugitive with a suitcase full of digital ghosts. Back in the Iron King's study, Prince William watches the final report flash across his desk. The financial recovery is complete. The brand is dismantled. The narrative is sterilized. The final decree. "Let the press speculate," William tells his private secretary. We will never mention their names again. They are not enemies. They are non-entities. In the history of the House of Windsor, chapter 40 through 46 will be left blank. The 4K cameras that once followed the Sussexes across the globe are now turned off. The lights in Montecito are dark. The Freedom Flight has landed in a void. End of ARC Intelligence Report. Web Analytics. Total removal of Sussex Royal metadata from all government servers. Asset recovery. Final offshore reserves transferred to the King's Trust for Veteran Housing.